Today in the Fulchester Crown Court, the Yachtsman Insurance Agency is being sued by Edward Blaney for the sum of £25,000. Mr. Blaney's boat, the Tedmar, was insured through them for this amount. Mr. Michael Draxland, a marine surveyor, has advised them to repudiate this claim. The plaintiff, Mr. Edward Blaney, is about to take the oath. Appearing, acting for him, is Mrs. Dixon. And Mr. Fry appears as counsel for the defendants, the Yachtsman Insurance Agency, and Mr. Draxland.
Your name is Edward Blaney?
Yes.
And you live at the Norfolk apartment building here in Fulchester?
That's right.
Which number?
It doesn't have a number.
Oh?
I have the penthouse.
Have you lived there long?
Since the Norfolk was built, about 2.5 years ago.
Do you own the penthouse?
No, I rent it.
How much does it cost you annually?
£1,500 rental, £500 for porterage and services.
And were you the owner of a twin-engine diesel cruiser called Tedmar?
Until she was wrecked, yes.
Will you describe the Tedmar to the court?
Well, she was a golden boat, built in Dartmouth, 1964.
A golden boat, not built of gold, presumably.
No, Your Honour. David Golden was the designer's name. He built several of them.
Identical to yours?
No, mine was a 50-foot version made of wood with two 60-horsepower engines. Some of his others were larger, some smaller.
But boats of quality, obviously worth a lot of money.
Yes, luxuriously fitted out.
What equipment did you have on board? Aids to navigation, I believe they're called.
Ship to ship, ship to shore radio.
Valued at?
New, about £500.
What else?
Radar.
And how much did that cost?
With installation, mine cost about £1,000. Then there was direction and finding, echo sounding equipment, bits and pieces like that.
How much would you say in all?
About £2,250.
Did you buy the boat new?
No, I was the fourth owner.
And when did you buy her?
1971.
Was all this equipment on board?
No, I installed the radar.
But the rest was included in the price you paid for her?
More or less, yes.
How much did you pay for Tedmar?
£12,500.
So for £12,500 you bought the Tedmar and all her equipment other than the radar set and a few bits and pieces?
That's right.
Was that expensive or cheap or what?
Oh, no, it's a bargain.
Do you know what she cost to build?
Yes, I made inquiries. Tedmar cost the original owner £16,400.
And you bought her for £4,000 less. Now, would normal depreciation over 7 years account for that?
Oh, no, boats are like houses. They go on increasing in value all the time.
Then how did you buy her so cheaply?
My lord, that Mr. Blaney got a bargain has already been stated. The reasons why seem hardly relevant.
They are most pertinent, my lord, when my client is claiming twice that sum as the real value of the boat.
Yes, I agree. What is the answer, Mr. Blaney?
Well, people feel very strongly about boats, Your Honour. Either they love them or they loathe them.
Really?
Yes, it's true. No one feels indifferent to them. Unfortunately, the previous owner, who had just retired, had his dream about living on his boat in the Mediterranean. So he bought her, put his wife on board as crew, and they set off. Well, they got across the Channel all right, and most of the way down the Atlantic coast of France, when they ran into a storm, which for beginners like them can be terrifying. Anyway, they managed to make shelter in a little fishing port near Biarritz. The wife got off and swore she'd never set foot back on board again, and her husband to make his choice. Well, my own wife, Marcia, and myself happened to be on holiday in Biarritz. I saw the boat one day and got talking to the owner, agreed to take it off his hands for £12,500.
And what would you say was the real worth of the boat at the time?
My lord, since Mr. Blaney is not an expert witness, I object. What the plaintiff thinks the boat may have been worth is irrelevant. It's what he paid for it that matters.
Certainly it has not been suggested that Mr. Blaney was qualified to act as an expert witness.
Very well, my lord. Having bought her, what did you do?
I hired a professional skipper, a Frenchman in Biarritz, to bring her back to England. I crewed to gain experience.
And your wife?
She drove the car back to
You
England.
were not about to fall into the same trap as your unfortunate predecessor.
No, Your Honour.
And for the last 3 years, the boat has been kept in Fulchester Harbour.
Yes.
Did you use her much?
Oh, yes. Trips across the Channel, long weekends, holidays, chuntering about locally. It's also a good venue for business meetings. I could take a prospective client off for a day's fishing.
Mr. Blaney, what is your business?
Plant hire, Your Honour.
Equipment for construction sites and such kind of endeavour.
Yes, Your Honour.
I apologise for my oversight, my lord.
There's no need to apologise, Mrs. Dixon.
When you bought the boat, what did you do about insurance?
I had the skipper arrange temporary insurance in Biarritz to cover the journey back.
For how much?
Well, I left it to him. He took one up for 15,000.
And what arrangements did you make when you arrived home?
Well, I contacted the Commodore of the Yacht Club for advice, and he put me on to the defendants.
And how much did you insure the boat for?
Well, I stuck to the skipper's original figure. He was a professional.
£15,000?
Yes. But 2.5 months ago, I raised it to £25,000.
Really? Well, that seems quite a jump, £10,000.
Well, no, not really. When you consider the increase in costs, Tedmar cost at least £30,000 to replace today.
You're saying that it would literally cost twice as much today if you were to build it now?
Yes, Your Honor.
But you reinsured her for £25,000,
Yes, I consider that was a fair price.
which was accepted by the defendant.
Lord, that question is ambiguous and quite unhelpful.
Yes, indeed. It is.
Very well, my lord. Did the defendants accept the insurance?
Yes. Well, I mean, they took the money, didn't they?
Did you discuss the value of the new insurance with the defendants?
Yes.
There was some disagreement?
Yes, they thought at £25,000 I was overvaluing the boat.
How was it resolved?
Well, they gave me the policy. I have it, £25,000 in black and white.
Thank you. I would now like to turn to the events of September the 8th, 1973. You took the Tedmar to sea that day.
Yes.
Were you alone?
No, Edwina Sheridan was with me.
Who is she?
She's a friend of mine.
You say mine, not ours. Didn't your wife know her?
Yes, she met her once, but,
Yes, Mr. Blaney?
well, she was my mistress.
I see. Would you please describe the weather conditions?
Oh, it was a bit blustery with clear patches. The Met report was deterioration from the southwest to force 6.
Force 6?
Yes, Your Honour, on the Beaufort weather scale.
As your lordship knows, the Beaufort scale, which goes from 1 to 12, describes force 6 as follows. Wind speed between 22 and 27 knots, described as a strong breeze with large waves about 9 feet high.
In fact, not very good weather.
No, my lord.
Thank you.
With such a forecast, why did you go to sea?
Well, I knew a sheltered spot, Breton's Cove, and I wanted to be alone with Miss Sheridan.
The weather conditions didn't worry you?
Oh, no. Tedmar could easily stand up to them.
What time did you leave harbour?
1100 hours.
And how long did it take to reach Breton's Cove?
Well, normally an hour, but I lost an engine en route, so it took an hour and a half.
Lost an engine?
An engine broke down, Your Honour. Well, it wasn't exactly the engine, it was the coupling between the engine and the prop shaft sheared.
Should you not have turned back?
No, I had another perfectly good engine. I wasn't worried.
And you arrived at Breton's Cove without further incident?
Yes.
How long did you stay there?
2 hours.
And what was the weather like?
Well, lumpy, but we were running before it.
You were going in the same direction as the waves?
Yes.
I see. And then what happened?
Well, about halfway back, the water pump for cooling the engine broke down.
The second engine?
Yes, so I had to switch the engine off to prevent it overheating.
So now both engines are out of action and the Tedmar is drifting.
Yes.
What did you do?
Well, what I had to do, take the water pump from the first engine,
The one with the sheared coupling?
yes, and fit it to the second engine.
Now, how long should a job like that take?
My lord, the witness is being asked for an expert opinion.
My lord, in this instance, as a man connected with machinery, as the owner of a plant hire company, and as an experienced sailor, I feel my client can be regarded as an expert and express a considered opinion.
Yes, indeed. What is the answer?
Well, it would depend on the circumstances. In a workshop, 15 minutes top whack. But the engine room was cramped. That second engine had been running for about an hour, so it was, well, half an hour. So it was very hot as well.
The engine or the engine room?
Both. And the boat was rolling heavily.
Was that dangerous?
No, but it was uncomfortable. Anyway, I figured I could do the job in an hour, so I started work.
What happened next?
Well, then Miss Sheridan said that a boat was hailing us. So I went up on deck, and there was this coastal freighter lying off. She asked if we were in trouble and whether we'd like a tow.
What did you reply?
I said I had a bit of a problem, but I could sort it out.
So the coaster left you there and went on its way?
Yes. I made the wrong decision. I should have accepted that tow. But I didn't. I lost the best boat I ever owned.
I trust I need not remind you that you are still on oath, Mr. Blaney.
Yes, Your Honour.
Very well.
You said the coaster sailed off and you went back to work.
That's right.
What happened then?
Well, soon afterwards, the weather began to deteriorate. The boat was leaping about wildly, and the job was taking much longer than I'd anticipated.
How much longer?
Well, I'd been at it about an hour and a half, and I had one pump off, and the other one about halfway off.
Halfway through the job, in fact.
Yes.
What were your feelings at this point?
Well, I was scared. It's now blowing a good force 7.
Force 7 on the Beaufort scale, my lord, is a near gale with winds of between 28 and 33 knots, with waves of 13 feet.
Yes, Mrs. Dixon. Thank you.
What did you do?
Well, I thought I'd phone up the Coast Guard and ask them to get the lifeboat to tow us in.
And did you?
No, because just then the Major showed up.
The Major?
Major Geoffrey Trussler. He's a member of the Yacht Club and owns a 28-foot bastion.
Might I inquire what a 28-foot bastion is?
It's a type of boat, Your Honour. It's very sturdy and solid, with a good engine.
Yes, thank you.
Then what happened?
Well, he called up on the radio to ask what the trouble was.
On the ship-to-ship radio?
Yes. And when I told him, he offered to take us in tow. Well, I accepted. He was there, on the spot. It seemed the obvious thing to do.
And his boat was capable of it?
Yes. So he attached a line, we set off.
Do you know your marine law, Mr. Blaney?
About accepting a line. Salvage. Yes, that's the first lesson a yachtsman learns.
What is your understanding of the relevant law, Mr. Blaney?
Well, Your Honour, if your boat breaks down and another boat offers to take you in tow, fix the price, preferably in writing, before accepting the line. Because if you don't, you may have to pay out half the value of your boat in salvage money.
Yes, thank you. Proceed, Mrs. Dixon.
Did you agree to pay Major Trussler a fee?
Yes, over the radio. He didn't want to accept anything at first, but I insisted. So we agreed on £500.
Over the radio?
Yes.
Now, can a conversation on a ship-to-ship radio telephone be overheard?
Oh, yes, ours was by the Coast Guard. They offered to come out.
To bring you in?
Yes, but we declined. The bastion could do the job. Or so we believed.
Had the lifeboat come out, would you have been required to pay salvage?
Oh, yes. Lifeboats can't charge for rescuing lives, but they can for rescuing property.
And had you accepted a line from the coaster, would you have been required to pay salvage money?
Oh, very definitely.
Agreeing a fee on the spot, as you did with Major Trussler?
I doubt if I'd been lucky enough to do that. The price has to be fixed with the owners, not the captain.
Does that mean it would have to be negotiated after the tow?
Yes. And it would almost certainly have been the full whack, half the value of the boat.
Did this influence your decision not to accept a tow from the coaster?
Oh, no, not at all. As I said, I thought I could do the job.
But now you couldn't, and so you accepted Major Trussler's offer?
Yes. But the second law of salvage is no cure, no pay.
No cure, no pay. In other words, Major Trussler would have needed to bring your boat into harbour to collect his £500.
Yes. But eventually we had to abandon Tedmar.
Why?
Well, she was becoming unmanageable in the heavy seas and the high winds.
Had the storm increased again?
Oh, yes, it's blowing a gale. We were only making about 2 to 3 knots, and the wind was threatening to drive us onto Pastor's Rocks about 3 miles from the harbour entrance. Also, the weight of my boat was threatening to tear the Major's boat apart.
So what did you do?
Well, we decided to abandon Tedmar and jump for it.
From one boat to another?
Oh, no, that wouldn't have been possible. A collision at sea would have done for both of us. No, we put on our life jackets. The Major floated back a line. I attached the line to Edwina, and she jumped into the sea. Then I cast off the tow rope and jumped in after her. The Major hauled us up on board, and we made it back to port.
And what happened to Tedmar?
Well, she went aground on Pastor's Rocks. Got pounded to smithereens.
What did you do when you got back to the marina?
I went to the yacht club and phoned the defendant to file my claim.
When you made your claim, was it correct in every particular?
No, I'm afraid not.
In what way was it inaccurate?
Well, I said I was the only one on board, which was virtually true for all the help that Edwina could give me.
Why did you make that statement?
Well, I was trying to protect my marriage.
And the claim has not been paid?
Well, I wouldn't be here if it was.
Have you been given a reason for the refusal to pay?
Yes, they said I did it deliberately.
Wrecked your own boat?
Yes, to get the 25,000 quid. And even then they said it was only worth 17,000, although they'd given me a policy for 25,000.
Mr. Blaney, did you wreck your boat deliberately?
No, of course not. That's an absurd suggestion. As if I'd risked my life like that, let alone somebody else's. Look, they're just trying to get off the hook. I did not do it deliberately.
Thank you, Mr. Blaney. I have no further questions.
Tedmar. Funny name for a boat, that, Mr. Blaney. Was she called Tedmar when you bought her?
No, hippocampe.
Hippocampe. That's French for seahorse, isn't it?
Yes.
Does Tedmar have any significance as a name?
Well, my Christian name is Edward, and my wife's is Marcia.
Oh, Ted and Mar, linking the two names together. What a nice gesture. Well, now, let's see what your boat was equipped with. Radar, was it?
Yes.
And let's see what else you had on board. Radio, telephone, echo sounder, direction-finding equipment, bits and pieces like that, you said. I wonder if you could be more specific about these bits and pieces.
Well, a dinghy, life jacket, life belts, things like that.
And that's a complete inventory. You've not forgotten anything.
Well, oh no, I have forgotten something, I'm afraid.
Oh, yes, what did you forget?
The stabilizer.
I see. What does a stabilizer do?
Well, it cuts down the roll in heavy weather.
So if a boat is rolling 30 degrees either side of the vertical, which would be a 60-degree roll, what would one of these stabilizers reduce that to?
10 degrees either side of the vertical.
Mm-hmm. And did the Tedmar have a stabilizer when you bought her?
No, I fitted one for my wife's sake, really.
And what does one of these devices cost?
Oh, about 800 quid.
£800, that's a lot of money, almost as much as a radar set.
About.
Rather an expensive oversight in your inventory of bits and pieces, wouldn't you say?
Well, no, not really. As I said, I installed it for my wife. I rarely used it.
Not even in very bad weather?
Well, it would depend on the relation of the course that you're steering to the way the seas are running. For example, on September the 8th, going to Breton's Cove, the sea was on the nose. And coming back, it was up the stern. The stabilizer wouldn't have helped. It cuts down the roll, not the pitch.
Does it?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Blaney, have you ever thought of selling your boat?
It's a saying that all boats are for sale if the price is right.
Well, have you ever tried to sell yours?
No, not seriously.
So you would describe as frivolous a notice you put up on the club board to the effect that Tedmar was on offer for £25,000.
I just wanted to see if I get any bids.
Oh, did you?
No.
Have you ever offered the boat for sale in any of the yachting magazines?
A couple of them, yes.
And what response did you get?
3 inquiries asking for more particulars.
Did you reply to them?
Yes.
And yet you say that you weren't serious about selling her.
That's right.
How much did it cost you to place these adverts in the yachting magazines?
About 10 quid.
Well, wouldn't you say it was rather a waste of time and money if you weren't serious?
No, as I said, I was just curious. If I'd been really serious, I'd have put it through an agent.
Is plant hire a good business to be in, Mr. Blaney? Is it lucrative?
Lord, the question is wholly irrelevant to these proceedings.
Not since £25,000 lie in the balance. Any inquiry about the plaintiff's finances is highly relevant.
Yes, I agree. You may answer, Mr. Blaney.
Well, it can be very good, yes.
Now, how many years have you been in the business?
10?
You started it.
Yes, it's my own business.
And what kind of equipment did you hire out?
Oh, tractors, compressors, cement mixers, generators, that sort of gear.
Yes. What's their book value?
Well, about 185,000 quid.
Which you own?
Yes?
Outright?
Don't be ridiculous.
I doubt if counsel for the defence is intending to be that, Mr. Blaney. A straightforward answer, if you please.
Yes, Your Honour. They're on finance, but through a banking trust company.
How frequently do you make payments?
Monthly.
How much?
Nearly 3,000 quid.
A month?
Yes.
Do you know of a company called K&N Construction Limited?
I knew them. They went bust.
When did that happen?
Mid-May.
Were you financially involved?
Yes, they owe me 8,500 quid.
Have you been paid any of it?
Not yet.
So with a monthly commitment of £3,000 on equipment alone, that must have been a serious blow.
It was.
But you managed to cover it
Yes.
by realising some assets?
No, I raised a loan.
Oh, you raised a loan, I see.
I just said so.
Yes. From your bank?
No.
Well, wouldn't that be the usual place to go?
I was bumping my credit limit.
Bumping your credit limit. That means you'd used up all your overdraft facilities.
Yes.
Your personal limit or your company's limit?
Both.
So when K&N Construction went bankrupt, you were already in financial difficulties.
Well, I wouldn't say that. Things were a bit tight, but that happens to everybody from time to time.
But when K&N collapsed...
Well, that's another story, of course. Yes, it hurt.
Yeah. Well, now, with the bank out, how did you raise this loan? Was it, for instance, a personal loan from friends?
No, it's through a financial brokerage house.
Which one?
Crown Finance Investments Limited.
Crown Finance Investments, and you raised £8,500 from them?
Yes, that's the amount I needed.
At bank rate?
More.
How much is more?
I'm paying 35% interest.
Well, that's close on £3,000 a year.
Yes.
That's a very high rate.
You don't have to tell me that. It was only meant to be a short-term bridging loan.
Until you paid back the money that K&N Construction owed you.
That's right.
Well, obviously, since you haven't received any of that, winding up their affairs has taken longer than you anticipated.
That's right.
Well, now, your loan was arranged with Crown Finance Investments in June of last year. Now, that's a good year ago, so your indebtedness at the present time must be in the region of 8.5 plus 3, £11,500. That's a very considerable sum. What security do they hold?
Tedmar.
Your boat. Your boat is held as security for an £11,500 loan. It's advertised on the club notice board and in the yachting magazines, and you still insist that you were not trying to sell her. Really, Mr. Blaney.
I was not trying to sell her.
Crown Finance Investments is that the company. This is Exhibit 1, you know. Now, the chairman is Sir William Bender, and the directors are Frederick Forefield, Matthew Atkins, Joseph Morgan, and Major Geoffrey Trussler. Is that, by any chance, the gentleman that rescued you?
Yes.
And was the loan arranged through him?
Yes, it was. We were having a drink in the clubhouse one day, and I told him I needed some money on a short term. He said he'd see what he could do. A couple of days later, he phoned to say that he'd arranged it for me.
And when your boat is foundering, he comes to the rescue again?
Look, it was sheer coincidence. I know perfectly well what you're trying to say.
Of course you do, Mr. Blaney.
Insurance companies are all the damn same. They take your money all right, that's okay, isn't it? Oh, yes, of course it is. But try getting them to pay out. That's another story, isn't it?
The case of Blaney against the Yachtsman Insurance Agency and Draxman will be resumed tomorrow in the Crown Court. Today in Fulchester Crown Court, the Yachtsman Insurance Agency is being sued by Edward Blaney for the sum of £25,000, the amount of money for which his boat was insured through them. Mr. Michael Draxman, a marine surveyor, has advised them to repudiate this claim. Mr. Blaney has testified that his boat's engine failed while on a trip to Breton's Cove with his mistress, Miss Edwina Sheridan. Having refused an offer to tow him back to Fulchester Marina from a passing ship, Mr. Blaney finally accepted Major Geoffrey Trussler's offer of help. On the way home, the boat Tedmar sank. Counsel for the defence have tried to establish that Mr. Blaney and Major Trussler were acting in concert in order to defraud the Yachtsman Insurance Agency for the sum of their claim.
My lord, my client wishes to apologise for his outburst. He asks your lordship's indulgence. The case has placed him under considerable strain.
I trust there will not be a repetition. Now let's get on. You are still on oath, Mr. Blaney.
Yes, Your Honour.
Let us now come to that fateful day, September the 8th, when you took Tedmar to sea on what was to be her last voyage. You say you were accompanied by a Miss Edwina Sheridan, whom you describe as your mistress.
That's right.
Had you known Miss Sheridan long?
About a month.
Where did you meet her?
At the yacht club. There was a party one night. I met her then.
And shortly after which she became your mistress?
Yes, that's right.
Now, was September the 8th the first time that Miss Sheridan had been on board the Tedmar?
Yes, it was. If you mean at sea.
I mean exactly what I said, Mr. Blaney. Was it the first time she'd been on board?
In that case, no. She'd been on board several times.
In the marina?
Yes.
But on this occasion you were resolved to go to Breton's Cove.
Well, we both managed to get part of the day off. We wanted to make the most of it.
Why bother? Why not stay in the marina and make the most of it there?
We wanted to go to Breton's Cove.
Now, on the way to Breton's Cove, a coupling between one of the engines and the propeller shaft came apart.
That's right.
Nevertheless, you pressed on, in spite of losing an engine, in spite of the impending storm,
That's right.
to spend a few halcyon hours in Breton's Cove before heading back for Fulchester.
Not a few. 2.
Now, on the way back, you described the weather as lumpy. Was the stabilizer working?
No, it was a following sea. It wouldn't have helped.
Then, the water pump on the other engine broke down, and so you had to replace it with the pump from the engine with the broken coupling.
That's right.
Yes?
My lord, we have already been over this ground.
Lord, my learned friend may have been over this ground. I certainly haven't.
As long as it is leading somewhere,
Indeed it is, my lord.
then you may continue.
Thank you, my lord. Now, you say that allowing for the heat of the engine and the size of the engine room, this job should have taken about an hour. With or without the stabilizer working?
Without, it wasn't switched on.
Switched on, then it worked independently of the engines.
Yes, it's electrically operated.
You mean it could have been switched on?
Yes, but it would have drained all the juice in the batteries.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Used up a great deal of electricity, my lord.
Thank you.
But if the stabilizer had been working, then the job could have been done more quickly, the boat's movement being reduced.
Yes, but there'd be no point with her in changing over the pumps if there was no juice left in the battery to start the engines.
Be that as it may, Mr. Blaney, the fact is that you never did change over the pump.
Well, no, I wasn't able to finish the job.
Now, at this point, along comes a cargo ship which offers you a tow, but you declined.
That's right. I told them I wasn't in any danger.
Well, I find that hard to understand. You knew the weather was deteriorating, and you say that you were afraid to switch on the stabilizers for fear that the batteries would be too weak to start the engine, and yet you say that you didn't consider yourself to be in any danger.
That's right.
This conversation with the cargo ship, did you conduct it over the radio?
No, loud hailer.
And could the coast guards have overheard any of this conversation by the loudhailer?
Of course not.
My lord, I can't see where this line of questioning can take us. Now, how can my client possibly know what the Coast Guards might or might not have done?
Surely the suggestion is that Mr. Blaney avoided using the radio in case the Coast Guards did overhear. It seems quite a pertinent line. Now, let's get on with it.
Thank you, my lord. Why did you use the loudhailer and not the radio, Mr. Blaney?
Look, I had nothing to hide. Anyway, he called me on the loud hailer first, so that's the way I replied.
And then off she sailed. However, later on you did think that you were in danger.
Yes, I've already said so.
The storm was getting worse and you were on the point of calling out the lifeboats.
That's right.
When lo and behold, your friend and benefactor, Major Trussler, arrives on the scene.
My lord, the words friend and benefactor are totally out of order. They are comment, and there's been no evidence to support them.
My lord, the dictionary defines a benefactor as somebody who confers a benefit, that is to say, a kindness, favour or advantage on another. Now, if to offer £8,500 as a loan to somebody in financial straits is not to be a benefactor, then I don't know what is, my lord. Similarly, the plaintiff has said that he was sitting in the bar, conferring with Major Trussler over a drink and confiding his financial troubles to him. The dictionary also defines a friend as a confidant.
Benefactor, Major Trussler most certainly was, but people are given to drink and confide in others than friends. Bar acquaintances, I think they're called, but all this is very unimportant, Mr. Fry. Let's get on with it.
Very good, my lord. Now, over the radio, Major Trussler offers you a tow, and this time you accept.
That's right.
After first insisting that he accept £500 as a salvage fee.
That's right.
Now, how were you proposing to pay this fee? You'd reached your credit limit with your bank, and you'd got an £8,500 loan from Major Trussler's company at 35% interest.
Major Trussler wouldn't have pressed me. I had to insist they'd let me pay him anything. There's a sense of honour among yachting fraternity.
I'm pleased to hear it. Tell me, Mr. Blaney, can you remember what you were wearing when you got back to dry land?
Well, jumper and slacks.
After swimming for it. A trifle damp, were they?
They weren't mine. Major Trussler loaned them to me.
Oh, yes, and no doubt he'd lent some to Miss Sheridan as well.
That's right.
How very convenient for you all that he had such a wardrobe on board. When you got back to the safety of the marina, what was the first thing you did?
Well, I went to the clubhouse, phoned the defendant to file my claim.
No, Mr. Blaney, the first thing you did was to go to the bar and order a bottle of champagne.
Oh, matter of fact, we did, yes.
Why?
Well, we were glad to be alive.
Really?
You've never been in a small boat in a gale at sea, have you? You know what it's like. The fear, the panic. And then you come through it, you reach shelter. You're on dry land and you're still alive. Yes, you bloody drink champagne.
I have asked you once to moderate your language, Mr. Blaney. I shall not ask you again.
Well, I'm sorry, Your Honour. These landsmen, they're so smug, they've no idea what it's really like.
I don't doubt that for a moment. Mr. Fry?
Not. So after enjoying this bottle of champagne, you phoned the defendant and subsequently filed your false claim.
The claim was not false. The claim is true. I said I've lied about the number of people on board and why I did it.
Oh, yes. Tell me, is Miss Sheridan still your mistress?
No.
Oh. When did the affair end?
When we left the clubhouse, we thought it best we didn't see each other again.
Oh, why did you think it best?
Well, any scandal would be bound to hurt us, professionally and personally.
Has it?
Yes.
Seen Major Trussler since then?
Occasionally.
Socially or professionally?
Professionally.
Not socially.
No.
You thought it best not to.
We just haven't met up.
In a year?
Well, our common ground was a yacht club. When I lost Tedmar, there's no point in me going there.
Really, Mr. Blaney, you must think me incredibly naive. Is it not the case that whilst drinking that bottle of champagne, you and your fellow conspirators agreed to go your ways to await the insurance payoff?
No. No. That's not true. It's not true.
No further questions, my lord.
Do you wish to re-examine the witness?
No, my lord.
Very well, you may leave the witness box, Mr. Blaney.
I call Miss Edwina Sheridan. What is your name?
My real name or the name I use?
Both.
My real name's Alice Haggerty. My professional name is Edwina Sheridan.
And where do you live, Miss Sheridan?
11 Golden Mews, Torquay. I have my practice there.
What practice would that be?
I'm a qualified masseuse.
Qualified in what sense?
Well, I studied at the Institute of Kindness Therapy in Cheltenham, and I received my diploma in 1970.
Have you ever worked in hospitals?
Oh, yes.
And do you still work in them?
Occasionally, but most of my time is devoted to my private practice.
Do your patients come to you, or do you go to them?
Both.
Now, where did you practice before you established yourself in Torquay?
Here, in Fulchester.
And how long had you been in Fulchester before the Tedmar incident?
About a year.
So your practice was well established?
Yes, I was very busy.
Then why did you leave?
Well, because scandal became unavoidable when the insurance people refused to pay Edward's claim. I only hope the local paper at Torquay doesn't get to hear of this.
Would it affect you professionally?
Well, it'd ruin me. Nowadays, the mere mention of the word masseuse can be misunderstood, which means, of course, I must be very discreet in my personal life.
When did you first meet Edward Blaney?
Well, one night at the yacht club, I was there with a group of friends, and Edward and I got talking. I found him very attractive. I still do.
And he became your lover?
Yes. It was always moments snatched here and there. It all seemed so sordid. It shouldn't have done. And then one day we had the chance to go to the cove together. And what should have been a beautiful day ended in disaster.
It has been suggested that you told Mr. Blaney about the cargo vessel.
Yes. I was in the wheelhouse at the time, and I saw this ship coming towards us, and a man looking at us through binoculars. And then the man, I suppose it must have been the captain, started talking over a loud hailer. So I went below to fetch Edward.
And when the captain offered to tow you into harbour, were you concerned when Mr. Blaney refused?
No. Oh, the sea was quite rough, but fortunately I don't suffer from seasickness, and Edward knew what he was doing, so I had nothing to worry about.
But later, when the storm got worse?
Oh, well, then I couldn't keep my balance or stand up. And I began to realise that for all Edward's efforts, he was fighting a losing battle. I was very afraid then.
And what happened?
Well, I was about to ask him to do something when he crawled out of the engine compartment and switched on the radio and said he was going to call for help. And then suddenly we saw Major Trussler's boat coming towards us, and there was the Major's voice booming out over the radio asking if he could do something. You've no idea how relieved I was. But it was short-lived.
It's been suggested by my learned friend for the defence that you were part of a conspiracy and that the fate of Tedmar was no accident.
Well, that's rubbish. I've never been so frightened in all my life as when I jumped into that sea. And I hope I'm never as frightened again.
Miss Sheridan, where was your practice in Fulchester?
At 4 Bailey Cloisters.
A very respectable address.
Well, as I've explained before, in my profession it's not enough to be respectable. One must be seen to be respectable.
Which would account for your expensive clothes and jewellery. I suppose your overheads must be pretty high.
Well, my personal overheads are. I like the good things of life. But my professional overheads are minimal, because my profession's there.
If I had a course of kindness therapeutic treatment as a private patient, what would it cost me at your clinic?
Well, that would entirely depend upon the treatment. There are several.
Well, let's take the simplest, shall we?
Well, a general toning-up massage for half an hour, that would cost 3 guineas if you came to my practice, and 5 guineas if I came to you.
6 to 10 guineas an hour. Even so, you must work very hard for the good things in your life.
I do. I always have done.
For things that would be definitely beyond your means on, let us say, a hospital salary.
Yes.
Quite clearly, you prefer the risks of a private practice to the security of hospital routine.
There's no such thing as security. Every moment of your life is a risk. I could walk out of here and get knocked down by a bus. Every day is a gamble.
Which you are prepared to take.
Yes.
Among your clients in Fulchester, were there numerous, how shall I put it, distinguished members of the community in industrial, civic and social life?
Yes.
Was Major Geoffrey Trussler one of them?
My lord, it's the etiquette of my profession that I must never reveal a patient's name.
My lord, if I am to justify to the court my client's refusal to pay an insurance claim on the grounds of fraud, I must be allowed to show the links between the conspirators in that fraud.
Yes, indeed, I agree. You are right. You must answer the question, Miss Sheridan.
Yes, he was.
Major Trussler was one of your clients. Was he by any chance a member of that group of friends with whom you were drinking in the club bar on the night you met Mr. Blaney?
Yes, he was.
Was it he who introduced you to Mr. Blaney? Well, Miss Sheridan.
Possibly it was Geoffrey. I don't know.
About this cargo boat, when you saw it approaching, did you, wave or do anything like that to attract his attention?
No.
No?
No.
Not even in those circumstances, drifting in a broken-down boat in heavy seas.
Yes, well, Edward said he could mend the engine. I didn't doubt him.
And for that reason, you made no sign of recognition to the ship?
Yes.
Or was it because it was the wrong ship?
No.
Yes, well, I've only one further question to ask you, Miss Sheridan. When you got back after your swim for your champagne celebration at the club, many witnesses have confirmed that you were, in fact, wearing seaman's slacks and an oversized sweater, but they also noted that your hair was dry and set.
Yes, I tried it on the boat on the way back. It wasn't set, but I combed it out and there was a can of hair lacquer on board and, well, I simply used that.
Are you asking the jury to believe that after plunging from the Tedmar into heavy seas and being hauled aboard Major Trussler's boat, you were then able to dry out, comb and set your hair with a tin of lacquer you just happened to find on board?
Whether people believe me or not, it's the truth.
Well, I certainly don't believe you, Miss Sheridan. I suggest that you never so much as put a toe in the water. I suggest that you transferred to Major Trussler's boat as soon as it arrived and that the plan to wreck the Tedmar was then put into action.
Well, you're wrong. Completely and utterly wrong.
Well, we'll let the jury decide that, shall we? No further questions, my lord?
Do you wish to re-examine the witness?
No, my lord.
Then you may leave the witness box.
I call Geoffrey Trussler. How long have you lived in Fulchester?
All my life. I was born there and I expect to die there.
What is your profession?
We're a family firm. We're stationers originally. My father moved it over to land. It was much more profitable. Then diversified. I'm on the board of several companies.
And what is your association with the yacht club?
I'm an active member and a committee man. I have my own craft.
Have you known the plaintiff long?
3 years, about. Since he bought Tedmar and became a club member. One man's bound to meet up. We did.
Socially?
Until the day he fell foul of that K&N construction in a business that went bust.
Would you tell the court what happened that day?
Yes, well, I stopped by for my customary nightcap, and there he was sitting at the bar, very down in the mouth. I asked him what the matter was, and he replied, "The blighters have done me for 8,500, or something like that."
What did you reply?
Well, I'd always liked him, so I said I thought we might help. You know, try to see him over the hump.
We?
Crown Finance Investments. Well, next day I talked to my fellow directors about it, and they agreed.
Was security required?
We took a charge on the boat.
This is a copy of the loan document, Exhibit 2, my lord.
Okay.
I see you've signed twice for the company and as guarantor.
It's just a formality. Crown's first venture into boats. Well, Lord knows I've been trying to get them interested for years, but as a show of faith in a new market, I said I'd act as guarantor.
I see. Do you remember the night the plaintiff met Miss Edwina Sheridan?
Yes. But if you're about to ask me if I introduced her to him, I can't for the life of me remember.
Why not?
Well, I was 3 sheets to the wind, as we say.
I beg your pardon, Major?
Slightly squiffed, my lord.
Drunk?
Well, yes, I suppose you might say so.
And you cannot recall making any introductions?
No introductions, no. I remember talking to them both when they were together, but that was later in the evening.
Now, let's come to the 8th of September last, the day the Tedmar was lost.
That I remember vividly.
What time did you leave the shelter of the harbour and go to sea?
Well, it must have been about 13:30 hours.
Now, we know why the Tedmar went out to sea, and if I don't ask you this question, my learned friend will. Why did you go out to sea in such conditions?
Nets.
Nets?
Fishing nets.
Oh, you are a registered fisherman, then?
Actually, no.
Well, fishing with a net is illegal, isn't it, unless you're registered?
Yes, but, well, mine's no competition for a real fisherman. It's a mere 250 yards. That's not serious at all. No, it's just something to amuse myself with, really.
Well, why were you off to tend to your nets in such bad weather?
Save them. Storms play havoc with a net. You can never straighten them out again. All you can do is chuck them away.
So you've gone to fetch them in?
Yes, I should have gone earlier, but I had a business appointment. By the time I got there, they'd had it.
So what did you do?
Well, I abandoned them.
And on the way back, you met up with Tedmar?
Yes, and in those seas, it was lucky I did spot him. Well, they were big waves.
You spoke to the plaintiff by radio and offered to tow him in?
Yes.
Now, what gave you the impression something was wrong?
Oh, the way she was lying. Beam on to the sea and wallowing like a stuck pig. No one would do that by choice. Obviously, something was up.
Eventually, you took the Tedmar in tow?
Which, regrettably, we had to abandon. Not from the financial point of view, of course, but boats are very special, you know. They're like living things. They have individual characters. It's not easy to abandon them. In fact, it's heartbreaking. But she was becoming unmanageable on the tow, threatening to take out my stern. So they had to jump in and swim over. Fortunately, I had some spare gear on board.
And some hair lacquer, we're told.
I'll always have a lady or two on board in the summer, and after a swim, handy stuff.
Are you aware of the allegation that the Tedmar was deliberately wrecked, Major?
Yes, I am. And it's absolutely preposterous. It's absurd.
Thank you, Major. I have no further questions.
Major Trussler, as an active member of the Yacht Club Committee, you are no doubt aware of the need to maintain good relations with everybody who uses the harbour.
Yes, of course.
Does this extend to the local fishing community?
Yes.
And yet you're asking us to believe that you had placed nets illegally in the area fished by the local fleet.
It's a mere trifle.
Well, I suggest you never had any nets at all, Major Trussler. I suggest that the whole story is pure invention to account for your rendezvous with the plaintiff in Breton's Cove.
I deny that, sir.
Major.
Yes?
What was your substantive rank when you left your regiment at the end of the war?
Substantive? Lieutenant. No, but I had been an acting captain and an acting temporary major.
But your substantive rank was that of lieutenant.
Yes.
Do you know how many ranks one is customarily promoted with an honorary title?
1.
So you should in fact call yourself Captain Trussler.
Yes, but I told you I had been an acting temporary major. I had my own battalion for a time.
Ah, this loan agreement made between yourself and the plaintiff.
Yes, I didn't make it. I was acting for Crown and Finance.
Well, and for the plaintiff as his guarantor.
As I've already explained that.
Oh, yes, the act of faith. Now, I suggest that your fellow directors were most reluctant to enter on this loan with only the Tedmar security, and would only do so if you guaranteed the investment.
Rubbish.
Did you know that the Tedmar was up for sale? I mean, you read the notice board in the club, I take it.
Yes.
So you knew it was up for sale?
Well, I spoke to Blaney about it. I said, that's a bit drastic, isn't it? And he said he wasn't serious. He was just curious to see if he got any offers.
Did he?
Well, you better ask him that. It's his boat.
In which you have an £8,500 interest. Surely a quick sale would be to your advantage.
Well, not mine personally. Crown, no doubt. But I knew how much he loved his boat. He didn't want to sell her, just as I'd never want to sell mine.
Unless, of course, the price was right. Major, among your many activities, were you ever on the committee of the local turf association?
Yes.
Well, why are you no longer a member of that committee?
My lord, I must protest that Major Trussler's activities as a committee man for the Turf Association are quite irrelevant.
Is it irrelevant?
Lord, I have too much respect for this court to waste its time.
I trust so. Answer the question.
I resigned.
When did you resign?
The end of last August.
Why did you resign?
Differences of opinion.
Over what?
Well, all sorts of things, really.
Were you not forced to resign because of your inability to pay your gambling debts? And how much were those debts?
£1,300, but...
No further questions, my lord.
And have these debts been paid?
Down to the last penny, my lord. Every last penny.
Thank you, Major.
The case of Blaney against the Yachtsman Insurance Agency and Draxman will be resumed tomorrow in the Crown Court. The case of Blaney versus the Yachtsman's Insurance Agency over the latter's refusal to pay a £25,000 claim is entering its third and final day. The plaintiff's case is closed. The first witness for the defence has been called.
What is your religion?
The Sufi.
Take the Bible in your right hand and read aloud the words on the card.
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
What is your name, please?
Michael George Draxman.
And where do you live?
29 Fortnum Road, Fulchester.
What is your business?
I have an agency which incorporates a boat surveying service and boat insurance.
Now, does surveying account for much of your business, Mr. Draxman?
Oh, the major part. I travel a lot. I go to other harbours to do surveys there.
So your reputation extends beyond Fulchester?
Oh, far beyond. In a year, I can normally count on 3, maybe 4 trips abroad. South of France, Gibraltar, Malta, all on business.
Did you ever survey the Tedmar?
No.
Were you ever asked to examine her at all?
No.
Did you examine her before issuing the first insurance certificate?
Yes, a cursory glance. She was clearly worth 15,000.
3 years ago?
Yes.
In your opinion, was she worth £25,000 at the time she was wrecked?
No, definitely not.
A policy was issued by your clients for that sum.
Yes, at Mr. Blaney's insistence.
Oh, you insistence? You mean that you had discussed the matter with him?
Oh, at length. It's true that she was underinsured at 15,000. I felt that 17,000 was a much more realistic figure.
Well, if you didn't examine her, on what did you base that opinion?
Well, I spend a lot of my time in the boatyard, and when a boat is on the slip, I look at her.
On the slip means out of the water, doesn't it?
Yes. And as it's my job, I poke around, have a look at the hull.
Unofficially?
Out of interest.
And what was your opinion of the Tedmar's general condition?
Not what it should have been. She wasn't bad, though, but there were things that needed doing to her.
Such as?
Play on the propeller shafts.
Play?
Yes, they were loose. They needed new bearings.
Would that be an expensive job?
Oh, 30 or 40 pounds. She was already out of the water.
Anything else?
Let me put it this way. Tedmar needed what we call a bit of loving care.
You're suggesting that the plaintiff didn't look after his boat?
He did the jobs that needed to be done to get by on. In my opinion, he did not do the kind of jobs that could have brought the boat right up to scratch and could well have made her worth the £25,000 he insured her for.
Yes, now, this interests me. If £17,000 was a reasonable evaluation of the boat's worth, why did you arrange insurance for £25,000?
Because Mr. Blaney insisted. If he'd insisted on £1 million cover, I'd have issued the policy and taken the premium. But then the insurers would never pay out a penny more than the boat is actually worth.
Well, now, let's get this clear. Are you saying that even if they were not contesting the claim on grounds of fraud, the insurers would still not pay out £25,000?
Yes, we'd have paid out £17,000, the figure I originally suggested to Mr. Blaney.
Thank you. Now, you were aware that the plaintiff had put his boat up for sale.
My lord, my client has already stated that his boat was not for sale. He was merely curious to see if there'd be any offers.
Well, he certainly did offer it for sale. Go on, Mr. Fry.
Thank you, my lord. You knew about the notice on the board.
Yes, I had hoped he'd accept the offer. Then I'd probably be asked to do the survey and see for myself precisely what she was like.
But wouldn't that have meant putting her on the slip again?
Yes, that's a point that's intrigued me. The plaintiff's decision to sell was made after he put her back in the water. Now, the obvious time to put her on the market was when she was on the slip.
Yeah. Well, now, let us turn to the events of September the 8th. What first aroused your suspicions about this claim?
Oh, the blatant lie.
About the number of people on board?
Yes, we must have realised that it only needed one or two questions to be asked by me to ascertain the truth. I was surprised he didn't come to me and say I had my marriage or Miss Sheridan's reputation to protect. What can we do about this?
Did anything else make you suspicious?
Yes, I read the claims statement again, many times. And all kinds of questions, many of which have been put in this courtroom, came to mind. Why should two relatively experienced yachtsmen allow themselves to get into such extremes as that? Why did he not accept the offer of a first tow? Why did he not use the stabilizer to cut down the boat's roll? A warm engine doesn't need much power to restart. One kick will do it. Why didn't they accept the lifeboat's offer to come out and help?
Correct. Did you act upon these suspicions?
Well, after the storm, I went out looking for wreckage and evidence.
Evidence of what?
A legitimate claim, or fraud.
And what did you find?
Well, the boat had been smashed to pieces. I doubt if I recovered a piece of wood more than a couple of feet square. However, engines don't break up so easily.
You recovered both the engines?
Yes, we did.
And what condition did you find them in?
The coupling between one engine and its propeller shaft was severed.
Severed? How?
Well, it's impossible to say. It could have been accidental. Equally so, it could have been deliberate.
What else did you find?
Well, the engine with the severed coupling had no water pump. On the other engine, the pump was half off.
Consistent, in fact, with the plaintiff's claim.
Yes, at first it would seem to be so, but on examination I discovered that the remaining water pump functioned normally. Now, according to Mr. Blaney's claim, that was the one which had failed.
Did you find anything else?
Yes, an open seacock.
Would you tell the jury what a seacock is, please?
Yes, it's like a tap attached to the inside of the hull below the water line. When it's open and the boat is in the water, the hull floods. When it's open and the boat's slipped, it lets the water drain out.
How does a seacock open?
Well, normally you move a lever through 90 degrees from shut to open.
Now, what effect would flooding have on a boat experiencing the weather conditions that the Tedmar was in?
Well, as she filled with water, she would naturally become heavier and move more sluggishly. And now this would put an ever-increasing strain on the towing line and on the towing vessel.
Until she had to be cut free and allowed to sink.
Yes, well, wooden boats don't sink quite so easily as steel ones. However, in Tedmar's case, I should say that the weight of her engines and the other gear would take her to the bottom.
Quickly?
No, not necessarily.
If someone was intending to destroy a boat by putting her on the rocks, why would he take the trouble to sever couplings and change water pumps beforehand?
Well, we'd automatically send a diver down to examine the wreckage.
If someone were intending to do that, what would be the point of opening the seacock?
Well, the additional weight of water in the boat would make it doubly certain that when she struck, the effects would be as devastating as they were.
Now, you found an open seacon.
Yes, which the plaintiff claimed was knocked open by the rocks.
Is that possible?
Yes, but highly improbable.
Why do you say that? Are they difficult to open?
Well, let me put it this way. You don't want them vibrating open or being accidentally kicked open. No, they don't open at all that easily.
Mr. Draxland, is it on your recommendation that the insurers are refusing to pay this claim?
Yes, it is.
And have you ever acted in a like manner before?
Yes, and I was right.
My lord, that is quite irrelevant to these proceedings.
It is, I agree.
No further questions, my lord.
Mr. Draxman, while I in no way dispute that you are an expert on boats, I am surprised that you should hold such authoritative opinions on a boat which you admit you never examined. You say you gave Tedmar a cursory glance and insured her for £15,000. And then 3 years later, when she was on the slip, you looked at her again out of interest and assessed her value at £17,000.
That is correct.
What percentage of Tedmar's value would her engines account for?
Well, if new, about a third, say £6,000. But now, well, 3,000.
But my client claims they are worth £5,500, and you never saw them.
Well, I knew her year and her make from the insurance forms. And I know full well what those engines are worth today.
In what condition?
Average.
Well, for all you know, Tedmar's might have been in mint condition, and that would have made them worth more, wouldn't it?
Well, they might have been, but I doubt it.
Why do you doubt it?
Well, the general condition of the boat, as I've said, she needed some loving care.
And this you deduced because the propeller shaft bearings needed replacing?
Among other things.
What other things?
Rust on the deck fittings.
Now, isn't rust a running battle with any boat?
Well, you must watch out for it.
What else?
Well, peeling paint, revarnishing that needed to be done. There are signs. You begin to spot them with experience. You look at a boat from the outside, you know what she's like inside.
Have you ever been wrong?
I'm not infallible.
So, like the rest of us, you can be wrong.
I've just said so.
Would you concede that the plaintiff knew his own boat better than you did?
Well, in the sense that he was more familiar with it, yes, of course. But I don't concede he knew her worth better than I did. Estimating the value of boats is my job.
Without even going on board?
Well, I appraise a boat when I see her. Going on board won't move that figure up much. It may move it down a lot.
When my plaintiff insisted that you insure his boat for £25,000, did you warn him that in the event of a claim you would not be prepared to pay out more than £17,000?
No, I told him the amount of insurance he should carry. If he wanted to pay the premium on an extra £8,000, well, that was his business.
You don't consider that unethical?
Not at all. It's standard business practice in insurance.
Really? May we cast our minds back to the initial damage to the boat? You say that you found a severed coupling.
That is correct.
Which could have been caused deliberately or accidentally.
Yes.
Well, let me ask you the question my learned friend did not. Of the two, which do you think it was?
Oh, deliberate.
Even though you've a 50-50 chance of being wrong.
Well, on the face of it, that would appear to be possible. But when you look at the additional factors, the odds against all the events being coincidental lengthen incredibly.
About the water pump. Now, suppose something, a bit of scale perhaps, or a piece of seaweed had clogged it. Is it not possible that with the pump half off, whatever it was blocking it could have been washed away?
Yes, it's possible, but like the sea cock being opened by the rocks, it's not probable.
Well, you see, Mr. Draxland, it occurs to me that you are denying my client's claim to settlement on the grounds of probabilities, without a shred of tangible evidence.
I'm confident, madam, that because of your experience, you can tell intuitively when a witness is lying. Allow me to know my profession.
In the light of that remark, I trust you will consider my next questions very carefully before committing yourself. Are you married?
Yes.
And living with your wife?
Yes.
Were you ever a patient of Miss Sheridan?
Yes. She treated me for a strained shoulder for a time.
And did you ever propose to Miss Sheridan that she might join you for luncheon after treatment?
I may have done, out of courtesy.
Did she ever accept?
No.
Were you at the yacht club on the evening the plaintiff took off, as it were, with Miss Sheridan?
If you mean the night that he met her, yes, I was there.
Are there, in your refusal to meet my client's legitimate claim, more than just professional reasons?
I resent that.
My lord, I protest most strenuously that is quite gratuitous.
Yes, I'm surprised at you, Mrs. Dixon.
I have no further questions.
Do you wish to re-examine the witness?
No, my lord.
Very well, thank you, Mr. Draxland.
I call Mrs. Edward Blaney.
Mrs. Edward Blaney, please.
Before the examination of this witness begins, I should like to make one point clear to you, members of the jury. In an action of this nature, that is to say, a civil case, it is quite in order for a wife to give evidence on the opposing side to her husband. I expect you know this is not usual in criminal cases. Go on, please, Mr. Fry.
Thank you, my lord. You are Marcia Blaney, the wife of the plaintiff.
Yes,
And do you present yourself in this court as a witness for the defence of your own free will?
I do.
Where do you live, Mrs. Blaney?
Marbella, Spain.
How long have you lived there?
Since last June, when I left my husband.
You are legally separated from him.
I'm divorcing him.
On what grounds?
On what grounds do you think? I'm sick to death of his dirty little peccadillos.
Peccadillos?
His sordid little backstreet affairs.
You're referring to his relationship with Miss Sheridan.
She was just one of the tribe.
Then these liaisons have been going on for some time.
Years. But I did nothing about them for the sake of the boys' education.
The boys?
Our two sons, Robin and Alistair. They're at Teignmouth.
Teignmouth?
Public school. I knew how much a divorce would affect their schooling as well as their relationships with other boys. So I did nothing about it.
Until last June?
No. I started the divorce last October, as soon as all this happened. When the insurers refused to pay his claim on the grounds of fraud, I knew I had to dissociate myself from that man as quickly as possible. For the boys' sake as well as my own.
Mrs. Blaney, do you take an interest in your husband's business affairs?
Of course I do. You must remember I've lived with him for 16 years. I've seen the way he treats people, and I know about his business affairs. The K&N Construction Company isn't the first difficulty he's found himself in, but it's the first one where he's been found out.
Mrs. Blaney, if you and your husband were separated last June, what reason do you think he would have for lying about Miss Sheridan being on board the Tedmar in September when he filed his claim?
None at all. But he's a very clever man. He was probably playing a triple game. I imagine he tried to tell you he was protecting his marriage. Well, he knew that one wouldn't work. So then it looks like he's trying to protect that woman. But it wasn't that either. He lets himself be caught out in a little lie, and then he acts all contrite and embarrassed to try and convince you of the truth of the big lie he's really telling. I've seen him do it before, and more than once.
Thank you, Mrs. Blaney. No further questions, my lord.
When you left your husband last June, was there any possibility of a reconciliation?
None whatsoever.
And the marriage was over?
Yes.
Where were you on September the 8th?
Marbella, Spain.
A good 1,000 miles from Pastor's Rocks, where the Tedmar was wrecked, and yet without any apparent hesitation you accuse your husband of being guilty of fraud.
I know him.
Yes, so you've said. How long had his peccadillos been going on?
Years.
Well, how many years?
About 6 years.
You can't say precisely.
It could have been longer.
Less?
No.
Do you live in a villa in Spain?
Yes.
Do you rent it?
No. I own it.
Oh, it's in your name?
Yes.
When did you acquire it?
5 years ago.
And how did you acquire it?
It was a present on my birthday.
From whom?
My husband.
Who for at least 6 years, you say, had been having affairs on the side. He bought the boat 3 years ago?
Yes.
And her name was changed from Hippocamp, I think it was, to Tedmar. And as my learned friend has already pointed out, Tedmar is a conjugation of the names Edward and Marcia.
It was for appearance's sake.
To give the impression of a happily married couple.
For the boys.
Who are at public school. For appearance's sake?
To get on nowadays, you need the best education money can buy.
And a penthouse to live in. Or was that also for appearance's sake?
We could afford it.
Yes, until last June, when K&N Construction went bankrupt. And then I suggest that for your appearance's sake, you fled to Marbella.
I was sick to death of his dirty little affairs.
And now you are petitioning for divorce and for the custody of the boys.
Yes.
How much maintenance do you receive?
£100 a week.
It's £5,200 a year, out of which you pay the boys' school fees.
No.
Oh. Well, who does pay them?
My husband.
And how much is that a year?
£1,100 each.
So that's a further £2,200. In all, £7,400 a year.
Yes.
I suggest to you, Mrs. Blaney, that your own selfish interests would best be served if your husband loses this action. His plant hire company will be wound up to pay his debts, and you can be there, waving your little piece of paper, demanding your pound of flesh.
That's ridiculous.
I have no further questions.
Mrs. Blaney, is your evidence today motivated by malice and self-interest?
No, of course not. I just didn't think he should get away with it anymore, that's all.
Thank you, Mrs. Blaney. No further questions, my lord. May it please your lordship, members of the jury, my client's contention that the plaintiff's claim is fraudulent, that he placed an inflated value on his boat and then wrecked it deliberately, is amply borne out by the evidence. The plaintiff bought a boat for £12,500 and made improvements worth a couple of thousand more. Then, finding himself in desperate need of funds, he tried to sell the boat for £25,000, but without success. So he obtained from Major Trussler's company a high interest rate loan, which the Major himself had to guarantee. However, during this period, that gentleman had to resign from the committee of the Turf Association because of gambling debts that he couldn't pay. Well, an obvious solution to their problem was to sink the Tedmar and collect the insurance. However, as Mrs. Blaney has pointed out, her husband's a very clever man. So he and his accomplices arranged to be caught out in some misdemeanour so as to divert attention from their real crime. Thus, we have an easily detectable falsification of the plaintiff's claim. We have their mutual friend, Miss Sheridan, allowing her good name to be sullied. And then have the astonishing statement from Major Trussler that he went out to Bretton's Cove in a storm to rescue 250 yards of illegal fishing net. And we're asked to believe that whilst engaged in this enterprise, he happened to meet the plaintiff and Miss Sheridan, who'd gone to the same spot for a bit of privacy. Well, members of the jury, coincidences do occur, there's no doubt about that, but the range of coincidences culminating in this one event, the wrecking of the Tedmar, is such as to stretch credulity beyond all reasonable belief. And the final coincidence of all, the mathematics of the case, is the most extraordinary. £12,500, the original cost of the Tedmar, plus £2,500 worth of improvements, plus an £8,500 loan, plus £1,500 of gambling debts. Does it surprise you to learn, members of the jury, that those sums total £25,000, the amount the lost boat was insured for? No wonder there was champagne all round in the clubhouse that night. No wonder they declined the cargo boat's offer of a tow. And when you consider that we've only got the plaintiff's word for it that his boat ever had engine trouble, and that the only expert witnesses that this trial has stated that in his view the boat was sunk deliberately, I'm sure that you will be forced to the conclusion that the wrecking of the Tedmar was a conspiracy to defraud.
But when Mr. Draxland examined the wreckage, and he is a marine expert, he found the conditions of the engines to be as the plaintiff had described them, except in one detail. The half-dismantled water pump worked. Now, under cross-examination, Mr. Draxland agreed that it could have been possible that the foreign body blocking the water pump could have been washed away. He also admitted that the seacock could have been opened by being dashed against the rocks. He might have remarked it was improbable, but he had to admit it was possible. As to Mrs. Blaney's evidence, I suggest that you entirely discount it as coming from a very prejudiced witness in whom little credence can possibly be put. The evidence establishes that my client is entitled to the value of his boat, which is £25,000. And accordingly, I ask for a verdict for him in that sum.
Now, members of the jury, this is a simple case. The plaintiff is entitled to an indemnity for the loss of his boat unless the defendants have established on the balance of probabilities that its loss was deliberate and not accidental. Now, if you should decide that you are not satisfied that the boat was wrecked deliberately, then of course you must fine for the plaintiff and award him the value of the boat. And as regards this value, you've heard the insurance assessor say that it is valued at £17,000, whereas the plaintiff says he insured it for £25,000. It would be for you to decide which of those two sums was the most appropriate, or indeed any figure between those two sums. Now, members of the jury, will you kindly retire to consider your verdict?
Members of the jury, will your foreman please stand? Just answer this question, yes or no. Have you reached a verdict on which you're all agreed?
Yes.
Do you find for the plaintiff, Mr. Edward Blaney, or the defendants, the Yachtsman Insurance Agency and Mr. Draxland?
The defendants. Next week, you can join another jury when our cameras return to watch a leading case in the Crown Court.